Being a famous rapper is one of the most dangerous jobs you can have, especially if you're really about that life. Just recently, Jacksonville rapper Spotemgottem was shot 5 times and was brought to the hospital in critical condition. On the same day, Wizdawizard, one of Kodak Black's artists, was found dead in his hometown of Broward County, Florida. Let's break down these wild stories. Spotemgottem. Spotemgottem is a rapper from Jacksonville, Florida, best known for his hit song, Beatbox, which blew up thanks to a viral dance craze created by a social media influencer named Junebug. The beat to the song was also used by a bunch of popular artists, including DaBaby, Young M.A., Dreezy, DDG, Polo G, NLE Choppa, and Lil Yachty, which also helped the rapper build his buzz in the industry. At just 19 years old, he's one of the hottest rappers coming out of Jacksonville and has managed to get cosigns from some of the biggest artists in the game. But all the sudden success has come with a lot of problems as well. The rapper has been arrested several times in the past year and is now fighting for his life after getting shot 5 times. On the morning of Friday, September 17th, Spotemgottem was driving a Dodge Challenger down I-95 in Miami when a car pulled up next to him and started letting off shots. The car was shot 22 times and the rapper was hit a total of 5. A passenger who was in the back seat was also shot in both legs. The rapper had been leaving a recording session at Miami's House of Hits recording studio. His videographer had posted a video of him at the recording studio while he was there and even tagged him in the post. Spotemgottem reposted the video to his own Instagram, which many believe may have helped the shooter find his location. He was brought to the hospital in critical condition, but later underwent surgery and is now stable. His lawyer spoke to the Miami Herald and confirmed that the rapper had been shot but was still alive and recovering. She also made it clear that he was a victim of a drive-by shooting and it was not a shootout. The story is still developing and it's still not clear what the motive behind the shooting was or whether police have any leads on who may have done it. They're calling it a road rage situation, but it's not clear exactly what that means. Spotemgottem is a rapper who comes from the streets, so several theories are floating around to explain what might have happened. Spotemgottem is from Jacksonville, a city that has gotten a lot of attention recently for all the violence going on between rappers. He's close to Foolio, who has beef with the other biggest artist from the city, Young and Ace. Foolio's KTA gang has been at war with Ace's ATK gang for the past few years, and both sides have lost close friends and family members in this violent beef. Foolio lost both his youngest brother Bibby and his cousin Zion Brown, while Ace was shot 8 times in a drive-by that took out his brother and 2 of his close homies. Check out our video on the war in Jacksonville for more info on this beef. Ever since then, the 2 rappers have gone back and forth, trading diss tracks and name-dropping each other's dead homies. So, it wouldn't be all that shocking if ATK decided to go after Spotemgottem as payback. Spotemgottem must have been aware that someone was after him because he was arrested back in July after police entered his hotel room in Aventura, Florida and found him sleeping with an AK-47. At the time, they were investigating him over an assault with a deadly weapon case that occurred a month earlier. A parking garage attendant in Miami Beach accused the rapper of pointing a gun at him during a dispute over an unpaid parking fee. The attendant claims that the rapper was part of a group of cars that entered the garage and broke a parking barrier on the way in. When the attendant went to confront them about it and request the $80 fee for parking, he claims that Spotemgottem pulled a gun out with a green laser, pointed it at him, and said, "You know what it is." The vehicles then fled the scene without paying the fee. The attendant called the police and later identified Spotemgottem as the one who pointed the gun at him. They later tracked the rapper to his hotel in Aventura, where they found him lying in bed with an AK-47 right beside him. So, clearly, he knew that he had to be prepared for the ops at any moment. Spotemgottem has also had to face snitching allegations in the past, which could have played a role in his most recent shooting. Back in January, Young and Ace's brother, ATKYBZ, released paperwork that allegedly proved that Spotemgottem had snitched on his own homie, YNR Mookie.
I thought y'all was brothers. Ass a fucking rat. Ass a fucking rat with a Glock.
Before blowing up, Spotemgottem had his home raided by police, which allegedly uncovered illegal guns, drugs, and ammunition, although it doesn't seem like the rapper served any time for possession. YNR Mookie is another popular Jacksonville rapper who's cool with Spotemgottem. Mookie was arrested in 2020 for possession of a firearm or ammunition as a felon and was put in jail without bond. ATKYBZ claims that the reason Mookie got locked up was that Spotemgottem snitched to police and told him that the guns and ammunition they found in his home actually belonged to Mookie. He also claimed that the paperwork he released proved the accusation. Spotemgottem has said this is all cap and that the paperwork is fake.
Then Juju little ass sending fake paperwork out like, man, what we, how the what we do that at, bro? You was just around me, bro. You mad? I just made your around me because some shit just happened. Little lame around nigga.
YNR Mookie himself also confirmed over a jail phone that Spotemgottem was his brother and he had nothing to do with the arrest, but there may be more behind the scenes that fans don't know about. At this time, it's not clear whether the shooting was the result of Spotemgottem's activities in the streets or if he just happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time. Hopefully, the rapper will make a full recovery and be able to continue his music career. More information will likely come to light as the case progresses, so stay tuned for updates. But Spotemgottem wasn't the only rapper to be the victim of a violent attack that week. Wizdawizard, another Florida rapper associated with Kodak Black's Sniper Gang label, was recently found dead and police suspect foul play. Here's what happened. Wizdawizard. Around 6:30 a.m. on Friday, September 17th, a dog walker discovered a body underneath a yellow construction tarp on the lawn of an abandoned home near Northwest 6th Terrace and Northwest 10th Street in Hallandale Beach, Florida. Police did not immediately identify the victim, but they informed local media outlets that he was well known in the neighborhood. Later in the day, the news broke that the victim was thought to be Sniper Gang affiliate Wizdawizard. At first, people close to the rapper denied the rumor and claimed that it wasn't true, but several news outlets and hip-hop media platforms have confirmed the news. Wiz was best known for his association with Kodak Black. He was signed to the rapper's Sniper Gang label and has been featured alongside him on several tracks and in music videos. Kodak has yet to officially comment on the news, but he did release a video of himself saying a prayer and talking about his relationship with God, which many believe is a reaction to the passing of his friend. Even though Kodak and Wiz were close, they were not on the best of terms before he passed away. Recently, Wiz and Kodak have been going back and forth on social media after Wiz let it be known that he was unhappy with his label situation. The beef started after Wiz went on social media and complained to his fans about his contract with Sniper Gang. He claimed that he had just found out he signed for only $30K and was offering $100,000 to get out of the deal. He also said on Instagram Live that he had plenty of other labels that were interested in signing him, but he was being blackballed and prevented from making the moves he needed to make.
I got labels ready to sign me right now, want to sign me right now. But people blocking it. People blackballing me. They trying to get me off the tour ride wave.
This came at a bad time for Kodak, who was already in the middle of another beef with one of his Sniper Gang artists, Jackboy. Jackboy accused Kodak of being a selfish label owner who wanted to keep all the shine for himself and didn't give the artists under him the support they needed to succeed. There were also allegedly some money issues behind the scenes that made Jackboy feel like Kodak was doing bad business. It seems like Wiz was having a similar issue and wanted to get off the label so he could find a better situation. Kodak obviously didn't take the shade too kindly. After all, it's likely no one would have ever heard of Jackboy or Wiz if it weren't for Kodak. But then again, Yak shouldn't have started his own label if he wasn't interested in helping his artists build their own careers. Kodak and Wiz started going back and forth on social media. Wiz claimed that Kodak was being overly aggressive and that it wasn't real beef, it was just business.
I just want to buy the contract, bitch.
You avoiding everything else but that contract. You talking about everything but that contract, bro. We not beefing, brother. The world know that, bro. You my brother, bro. It ain't that deep.
But Kodak clearly felt like both his artists were being disloyal and weren't appreciative of the platform he had given to them. Even though the situation got pretty heated, it never got to the point where it seemed like either of them was going to resort to violence. They both made it clear that they were brothers at the end of the day, and it was just a petty disagreement, not real beef. In the post that Kodak put up on his Instagram, he claimed that he was working on his relationship with God and that he forgave anyone who did him wrong in the past. Although he doesn't mention Wiz by name, it seems like Kodak is trying to put their beef behind him and move on. It seems unlikely that Kodak had anything to do with Wiz's death, even if they weren't on the best of terms before he died. But then again, anything is possible. But with Wiz now turning up dead, it has fans questioning whether there was more going on behind the scenes. At some point, maybe it did get that serious. Both Kodak and Wiz are two rappers who are really about that life, which means that anything can happen when money is involved and enough disrespectful things are said. But then again, it also means that Wiz may have had other beefs in the city that fans didn't know about. Before he was killed, Wiz had just recently beaten an attempted murder charge after the victim was murdered before being able to testify. In October 2016, Wiz's older brother, Wajib Williams, was killed at just 19 years old, not far from where the rapper's body was discovered in Hallandale Beach. He and a 17-year-old friend were walking down the 700 block of Northwest 7th Avenue when someone started shooting at them. They ran down the street, and a woman in a nearby house heard them screaming and called for help. They were both brought to the hospital, where Wajib would later pass away. A year later, a man named Denzel Williams claims that Wiz and another man shot at him 6 times from a black Nissan while he was walking down the street. He managed to escape without being hit and later reported the shooting to the police. He identified Wiz as the shooter and claimed that he was trying to kill him because he thought he was somehow responsible for his brother's death. He claims that Wiz has been following him in the same vehicle a few days prior and had made a face at him as he drove past. Williams later identified Wiz in a photo lineup, and the rapper was hit with an attempted murder charge. But it would take several years for the case to make it to court. Williams was set to testify against Wiz, but on August 22nd, 2020, he was murdered in a drive-by shooting in Hollywood, Florida. The shooting also killed an innocent bystander named Amber Campbell, who was Williams' neighbor and had just crossed the street to talk to him and pet his dog. While they were chatting, a gunman drove by and shot them before fleeing the scene. Police believe that Williams was the intended target because he was set to testify against Wiz in court and that Campbell was just an innocent bystander caught in the crossfire. But they had no proof that Wiz had anything to do with the shooting. Without Williams' testimony, they also had no evidence to convict Wiz of the attempted murder because the only witness was now dead, so they were forced to drop the case. If Williams really had something to do with Wajib's death and was connected in the streets, it's possible that Wiz was killed in retaliation. But at this time, there isn't enough evidence to say for sure what really happened. This case is also still developing, so more news is likely still to come. Stay tuned for more updates in both the Spotemgottem shooting and the murder of Wizdawizard.